In this session, we will call upon the respective evaluators of all these speeches and also the aux roles player to present their report. So we'll start with the first speech evaluator, Toastmaster Shira speech evaluator, Kunal. So welcome Kunal on the stage.
Vulnerability is not winning or losing. It is having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Can we have a huge round of applause for Toastmaster Ruchira for reminding us that it is okay to be vulnerable, and vulnerable is not a negative word. It has been associated with negative words since long, but now we should change our perspective and we should embrace it. Thank you, Ruchira, for sharing it with us. Thank you for reminding us what were your key point when you have changed the perspective of the concept of vulnerability. We have all heard a great story by Toastmaster Ruchira where she talked about how initially she was quite vulnerable and not comfortable to teach the underprivileged or to teach the student. But when she has accepted the fact that she need to show up and she need to accept the authenticity and works upon that, she will deliver this. And today we all witnessed that Toastmaster Ruchira is definitely one of the, she has the traits of a great public speaker, be it a verbal communication or a non-verbal communication. She possesses the good qualities of a great public speaker. And we have also witnessed during this speech how she was using some good English language. Even during this speech, she has used word of the day, immaculate, and she has so many good uses of English language during her presentation today. Also, our body language evaluator will highlight she has the apt body language when she was expressing any thought. So, if I talk about my take on this project, I would like to comment Toastmaster Ruchira on great uses of verbal and non-verbal language that you have shown today. Now, you had given us a great insights about the story, but I would like to work more upon your storytelling. So there were certain elements that you had showed in this speech, but I would like to work upon, there are basically three elements of a story, that is ethos, pathos and logos. I don't have time to explain much, but I request you to go search Google and work upon each of the elements of the public speaking or particularly the storytelling. That is one recommendation. And the second, during the initial 30 seconds of her presentation, her voice was not audible to the last section of this stage. So I also like you to work upon this vocal variety. Overall, it was a great speech. We all had learned, we all had takeaways that we should accept vulnerability. Over to General Evaluator.
That was very comprehensive evaluation which Toastmaster Kunal has given. Besides that, I just wanted to add few more points to Ruchira's speech. First of all, she has talked about vulnerability, and it is about presenting yourself, like she said, to the world. And we have seen some of the members without shaking hands, or because without shaking hands, they are just trying to escape from the stage. So this is your first step over there, just to be the presenter. Don't avoid this. This is an opportunity which you should not avoid. So be here, shake hands, don't leave the stage till the time somebody else is not shaking hand and taking the handover. Secondly, in the first section, rightly said by Kunal that your voice was a little down, but I think in the second session, second part of your speech, it was very clear, and the tone which you have used was fabulous. We can easily see, okay, the shift of the tone was there. At least I can see that. So congratulations on that. a body language, maybe a little bit less movement, and eye contact. Again, you were looking sometimes at the front, which happens to all of us. Yeah. And now let's move to our second evaluator of our second speech by Vishal Astrani. The evaluator is Abhishek Singhal, Toastmaster Abhishek.
I think Vishal Arsani successfully achieved the purpose of his speech, and I know him a lot better now. I think Vishal excelled at certain aspects, two primarily. One were his gestures, like when he said that Mumbai welcomed me with open arms, and that dream I was able to achieve. So those gestures were really purposeful and prepared, which was really great to experience. And the second aspect which I really liked about Vishal's speech was the structure he gave to his speech. So all of it was really easy to understand. He went through his early childhood days, then to his undergrad, postgrad, and his current life. So I think that all of us really know him a lot better now. Now a few aspects Vishal could work on to improve his delivery of speech. I think no matter certain gestures were really planned and well thought of, certain mannerisms like plucking his fingers or just rotating his ring were a little distracting once in a while. The other aspect is that the mannerisms itself is that he would often lean on one of his legs. So he would try to use the stage but would often lean. So that aspect can be taken care of. And again, a corollary to that is that the stage, Vishal was trying to use the stage, but the movements weren't really purposeful. So had he made the movements a little more purposeful, it would have been better. So for instance, because it was short chronological order, 1, 2, 3, 4 for all the different stages of life, different aspect of the stage should have been used better. And then to the structure, one quick recommendation there is that certain abbreviations like DGI, DCA were used. And for the better comprehension of the speech by the audience, it is always better to not really use abbreviations, but use the full forms because it's more for the audience appropriateness. And if I have to give him one challenge to improve his speech delivery and take it to the next level, it is vocal clarity. And that Vishal can do by practicing certain mouth exercises. Like I want to demonstrate those. They look a little weird, and I would recommend all of us to do those in private because people might end up judging you. But certain things like, yes, so what these do is, and then the third one here is to just speak in a very exaggerated manner. So for instance, Vishal could do certain things like improving his confidence or storytelling. So you speak in a certain exaggerated manner, which just works your cheeks and all of those aspects. Lastly, I think it was a very good successful achievement of his purpose, and I would really commend him on doing that and also learn from him to just achieve one speech purpose. And like Mumbai welcomed him with his open arms, I, along with our GTMC members, welcomes Vishal with open arms. Back to you.
I think Abhishek has covered everything which I also wanted to talk about Vishal. Besides that, he has also shown and told us, in fact, he has given us the demo how to do or he can improve his vocal variety over it. So that is more than appreciated by Abhishek Singhal. I would like to invite Saurabh to evaluate his target speaker.
Thank you. Has anyone over here seen that series Breaking Bad? So do you remember the very first scene where he's standing in the middle of the desert in his underpants, and then the story begins? I got a similar kind of feel when I was listening to Vanshu's speech. It was structured in that fashion. We'll break that down. So first and foremost, let me just build a structure in terms of how this speech was presented and what was the structure. I'm going to break it down in terms of the content and the delivery. So as I was just saying, we started with a very interesting quote, "Kya aapke toothpaste mein namak hai?" and all those very memorable phrases that we remember from the marketing days. That was like that movement from Breaking Bad where the present day is being shown. That is when his life is current. Then eventually he steps back and starts talking about how the whole story began, just like in that series. So in terms of the structure, if you notice, it is very interesting. He followed a tried and tested pattern in terms of how good series and how good movies are written. In terms of you start with the present, then you go back, and then you come back and narrate the whole story. That is the very tried and true principle. So that was a very interesting usage. I have not noticed that very much. So that kudos to you on that. Secondly, I also noticed you also used call back to your speech title once in a while in your speech. So that kind of builds that anchoring or kind of a memory in terms of what is the takeaway for your speech. That was done very well. Other than that, I also like that because it was an icebreaker speech. You talk specifically on your own life journey that began from 1990s to till when you were in Abu Dhabi and then came back. The whole twist and turn that we expect from any good story, that was done very well. Now let's look at the delivery of your speech, how you presented it. What I really liked about your voice quality is the cadence and the volume. So at times you'll notice people will speak very high and that becomes very cacophonic and irritating at times. But that was not the case with you. You were just right. It was very mellow and very soothing. It almost felt like we are sitting in front of a fireplace and listening to someone narrate a beautiful story in front of us. So that was done very well. Another thing that I've noticed in terms of your body language and gestures, they are very contextual. When you want to emphasize, you use gestures like this to emphasize it. But there was one small downside that I would like you to be more mindful of. When you were using the stage in terms of movement, it was a little bit abrupt and there was no as such pattern. You were just cycling and moving all across the stage. One good way to handle this would be maybe when you are in the present, you could have started from the front of the stage, then you go back when you're narrating your past, and then you come back to the present. So that creates a very good visual pairing with your speech. In terms of challenges, I would have one thing that you can work upon. If you can try and experiment with it. There is a concept known as needs and wants in a story. Where if you're building upon a story, just try and research on this thing what you need and want. You will not explain it, but try and research and try and use that in your next speech. And to finally summarize your speech, I would say you are a natural storyteller with a very pleasing cadence. Your next step would be to just add to this base frame and make it more wonderful.
This was the evaluation by our GTM sort of, which was again a nice storytelling evaluation by himself about Vanshul's speech, Vanshul's ice-breaking speech. I would like to congratulate Vanshul for taking this step, and I would also like to give him a applause for this, for taking this opportunity on education's team's request. One thing which I have noticed in his speech that he has used lots of idioms, which is appreciable, like top of your head, once in a blue moon, change is only constant, cut my losses short, and cup of tea. So that was very appreciable in the ice-breaking speech. In terms of body language, it was good. Like sort of said, you can try to avoid too much of movement on the stage and bring more vocal variety or tonality in your speech. Now I will quickly move to the overall evaluation of this meeting. So meeting was little late by like 7 minutes. sorry, I'm so sorry. So now we will move to our auxiliary role players. So we'll start with our body language evaluator first, which is
because of the time constraint, I'll only stick to what is really relevant. And I wanted to start with the auxiliary role players first, but I'll go with the speakers. Before I start with it, there was one consistent thing that I found in every speech, whosoever came on stage. And something was great in terms of facial expressions and eye contact and the voice, which was great, which was good in most of us. So I would like to congratulate everyone. Okay, there is something that we all can work on. Something which was missing in most of the speakers who came on stage was the space utilization, and the hand movements were a little less. The body postures were also a little bit on the, like, it was not animated as much. To start with Toastmaster Ruchira, there are two words I would like to give her before I start my evaluation: excited and uplifted. And the pattern that I've given you is of riser. I'll tell you why. Her facial expression was confident, engaging, interactive. Her body movement was appropriate. Just as the story was moving, she was very appropriate with her body movements. Initially I thought that her hands were closed, but then as the speech grew, I could see little gestures coming up, and it opened up to great gestures. When she said, "I am a teacher," she pointed towards her, and that was a personal touch that she was actually using the anchor. Then she said 1, 2, 3. She talked about this family, friends, and thing. And then I saw the power started to come up. Overall, it was a good hand gesture. I cannot complain about that. The eye contact was great. It was very engaging. The space utilization initially was little less, but when she started showing the slides, there was a little movement shift towards the stage, like she went on one of the sides, and that is when the power came up. Initially she was less audible, but then the whole vocal variety came up. Second was Toastmaster Vishal. The two words I would like to give you is smile and soft. And your pattern was square, because your movement continued to be in this particular square. And overall, your facial expressions were smiling and very involving in the storytelling. The right expressions came up when you were telling about your personal experiences, but it could be emoted a little more. Body movement was shifting weight on one side of your body. Hand gestures were closed. That is something that you can work on. But initially it was like that, but then it opened up. The voice was soft. It can be added a little, vocal variety can be a little added onto it. The content, the eye contact and everything, the content was really good. TM Vishwanshul, two words I would like to give you is inviting, smooth, effortless. Smooth and effortless, you can combine into one. But then the pattern that I would like to give you is a line. You stayed in this line. I'm overboard, but that's okay. Facial expression, very confident, engaging, smooth, motivated, and pleasing. Body movement was very firm. It was moving on the stage was good, but sometimes you showed your back towards one side of the audience. The gestures, initially I saw for a few seconds the hand were clasped, and then you started to emote a little more, but then I saw that it again came back to the clasping hands. Eye contact was really good. You were speaking to the audience right there. The space utilization was, like I mentioned, it was there. If you could just take a few steps back and then you're facing everyone. The voice modulation, the variety, the modulation, and the audibility was really good. Audibility is that the right word? So thank you so much. I would like to give you the explanation of everyone else can be taken from me later on. Thank you so much.
Now I would like to invite Gramedian of the day, Toastmaster Ayush.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am back with my report with the usage of grammar that each speaker has done. So first, I would like to mention some of the mediocre usage of the language which was done in the meeting. So one of the speaker used great level of discussion. It should be in-depth discussion. One of my friend was used. It should be one of my friends. Next one is looking closely to the proceeding of the meeting. The better use would be looking closely at the proceeding of the meeting. One of the speaker used we doesn't. It should be we don't. Next one is in one of the sentences it was used COVID stuck in there. It should be COVID stuck in there. Now coming to some of the good usage of the language. In Harvey, you use one of the phrase stumbled upon, mesmerized, and light frozen with curveballs. Next one is you use man having an armor around you. So that was a very good use. Doing justice to myself. TM Vishal used Mumbai welcomed me with open arms. Next one, Team Manchu. You used a plethora of good phrases and words. Once in a blue moon, that's my losses shot. To be at the top of your game, no easy feat. Another one was larger scheme of things. Now some of the good words were inculcated, impeccable, which obviously means the same as immaculate. Coming to the word of the day and idiom of the day. Word of the day was used 6 times, and correct me if I am wrong, idiom of the day wasn't used there.
Gas tummy. Gas tummy to use.
Yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ayush. Now let's hear the quote of our founder from Toastmasters, please.
Thank you so much, everyone, for delivering these speeches, and I am back to take the feedback. How was the last slice of pizza? So here is my report ready. Timot Bharti used lots of so some repeated words like sometimes, and one recommendation, he used lots of and but when connecting new sentences and starting new sentence. So that's one of the area of improvement. G. Sunny used lots of and so. Active listener Manoj used 3 1 so. I notice myself for you like, so that's one of thing I speak. Other thing I will not notice. TM Ayush used lots of Bhavesh also used the same lots of TM Kunal evaluate to first use so 3-4 times, so that's within the limit. TM Ruchira speech was flawless, so there was no, any flawless word, crutch words was not there, so well done. I could observe the same for TM Vishal as well, but he used lots of but and, so that's the recommendation. He used lots of and, there is a change in I realize, and that's again, and I joined Toastmaster, and that's where I made start. So these were some of the words which I noticed for TM Vanshul, who used these, and TM Vishal was flawless. However, he used also but TM Vanshul used these words more. He used start words with and. Rest, but I feel like it was, exceptional delivery from each and everyone. So I appreciate you all. Keep, delivering flawless speeches. Back to you.
So how good are we listening to the complete speeches in the meeting? Let's have a report from Toastmaster Manoj.
Hi everyone. I know we have been disturbed by construction work
So TM Bharti had been to a trek, right? Can you say where? Dream trek. That's correct. That's my question mark. I couldn't confirm before I could come on this list. Okay. What inspired PM Vishal to start watching cricket?
Maybe when he watched his first match at home with his father. Is it?
1999 World Cup. There are some CS in our guests, and somebody point out what was.
CA.
Okay, it needs to raise hand. No, I didn't. Okay, so there is someone here from Mumbai among the guests. Cancel.
Or you're not sure?
So I have noted the orange is wait. The guest with black is from Mumbai.
Uncle.
So I'm not sure. Yeah, thank you. Oh, sorry, yeah, black. So there were two TED speakers were appointed by the speakers here. Can you name them? Two TED speakers were there.
One.
Name one.
Bren Brown.
Okay. One more was Tony Robbins.
Okay.
Okay. Who here is doing Vipassana? That's it. Okay, go ahead.
Aman, Namita, and Saurabh does it. Yes, he's experienced it. So these two people revealed it here, I think.
And one of the guests.
Yeah.
One more guest.
It's a tricky question.
Okay, Mayank. Mayank.
Okay. So, Vavesh started with one line about body languages. What was that phrase? 2 words. Anybody? Okay. Yeah. Silence communicates. Sorry, I don't know. Okay, that's all from my side.
It was very interesting that you have really listened to everything. But maybe you need to construct it a little bit more since it's a new role which we have started in the club. So it will take some time to get sure. So that was really well done, Manoj. Now it's time to see the report from the timer, Aman. Before that, I would also like to tell that whomsoever has crossed the time limit on the stage would not get the opportunity to get votes and appear for the nomination.
This was more or less an immaculate meeting because all the speakers are on time, all the table topic speakers are on time, but unfortunately evaluator 3, which is TM Saurabh, overshot by 18 seconds. But I can't blame him because his evaluation was correct. He was not dragging it, he was just on point. And TM Bhavesh, you know it, but like evaluator, he overshot the 40 seconds by speaking for about 4 minutes 10 seconds. But again, he knew about it and he was just giving the constructive feedback. I feel that it was nothing to be dragged about.
You should consider this.
I think I would consider, but I don't have the power. So, and apart from this, everyone, all the auxiliary roles are on time. Hopefully, I am on time.
Yes.
So it's not a last minute, so I will keep speaking something. So, all the icebreaker speech by Speaker Vijay Vishal and PM Banchur. Your speech was on time by 6 minutes 10 seconds for PM Vishal and 5 minutes 56 seconds for PM Banchur. I've got the green card and I'll go. Thank you.
की दो तरह की होनी चाहिए, एक without this और एक with that. How will they more motivated?
Let's first, all of us, give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Kunal. He went twice to ask them to stop it. Our meeting started a little bit late. It was 7 minutes delayed. All the Ox players knows their role well, and they have explained when they were called on the stage. I had a little bit of disappointment with the individual evaluators who were not having the resources with them. So they should be coming on this stage with the resources and tell the evaluation as per the resources given to them by their speakers, so that they can also, speakers can also get the report in hand while they prepare for the next speech. Another thing which I noticed was the crossing over after shaking the hands. In the, I think, last meeting when TTM Chiketa was here, he told us a very nice lesson that whenever you are shaking hands, you should not cross from this side, but you take the back side and cross it. So I will encourage that to be more accepted in the stage. I've already talked about the vulnerability part, where you need to expose yourself on the stage. So some of the guests and the speakers and members, they're leaving the stage without shaking the hands. So it's an opportunity to be here, present yourself, show yourself to the world. It's totally fine. Another important point which I want to mention over here is tilting on your seat. It is not appreciated while somebody is speaking on the stage. It looks like that the other person is not interested in your speech or is not listening to you actively. So be more tilting towards the person who is speaking on the stage, so that it feel like you are accepting him, right? So that I would appreciate from all of us. President have presented or told us everything about the Toastmaster, what the Toastmaster Club is and how it has helped lots of people. Again, another round of applause for Kunal for taking the sarul at the last moment. TMOD has engaged us all with her story of going for a human death track. And I would also tell you that last month also I went there for the tracking. TTM Toastmaster Ajay Mehra has again taken the role of table topic master on our request, and I think he has done lots of research and he has gave the sheet of his research part and he has justified the role very well. Besides that, I don't have much thing to add here, but I think it was a great meeting and I hope all the guests and the members have enjoyed the meeting. Now I would like to call our President, Toastmaster Mohit on the stage.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep, for being an evaluator and presenting your report. Before proceeding forward, I would like to hope you have all received this voting form. Everyone, I think you have not received it. You can talk to this Toastmaster nearby. And just for your reference, I would like to, I want all the speakers to please raise up your